All right. So, hey, far be it from me to take a victory lap already, but some of you might remember last year I made a prediction about Tesla sales dropping, and I was right about that. This year, for our end of year predictions, I said that Tesla would not only continue to fall, but the story of Tesla would start to come apart. The narrative around Tesla would start to come apart. Now, because Tesla is one of these cult stocks, um, not only have I gotten some pushback from aficionados of Tesla and of Elon, one of our patrons, if you're at a certain tier, I think it's a $30 tier, you get a phone call with us periodically. Keaton set that up. I'm not sure about the details, but he spent a lot of that phone call arguing, in a nice way, my Tesla thesis. We got to call that guy because I want to talk to him now. So Tesla quarterly deliveries decline for the first time in nearly 4 years. Tesla on Tuesday posted a decline in quarterly deliveries for the first time in nearly 4 years and missed Wall Street estimates, a performance some described as ugly, as price cuts failed to stir demand in a highly competitive market. Shares of the Elon Musk led company were down 5.2% at 166.08 on Tuesday afternoon, losing about 30 billion dollars in market value. The shares have fallen about 33% so far this year. After years of rapid sales growth that helped turn Tesla into the world's most valuable automaker, the company is bracing for a slowdown in 2024. The EV maker has been slow to refresh its aging models as high interest rates have sapped consumer appetite for big ticket items, and rivals in China, the world's largest auto market, are rolling out cheaper models. Tesla's deliveries declined by 8.5% in the first quarter to 386,810 vehicles from a year ago, and the company produced 433,371 vehicles during the period. Wall Street had expected Tesla to deliver 454,200 vehicles, according to the average projection of 18 analysts polled by Visible Alpha. The last time the automaker posted a sales fall was in the second quarter of 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic forced Tesla to shut down production. Tesla attributed the drop in volumes partly to efforts to prepare its Fremont, California factory to handle increased production of the updated Model 3, and to shutdowns at its Berlin plant due to the impact of the Red Sea conflict and an arson attack. But Tesla produced 46,000 more vehicles than it sold in the first quarter, signaling softer demand, analysts said. The vehicle inventory, quote, confirms that beyond the known production bottleneck, there may also be a serious demand issue, Deutsche Bank analyst Emmanuel Rosner wrote in a note. Tesla has faced intense competition in China from local players, including market leader BYD, which overtook the U.S. company as the world's largest EV maker in the fourth quarter, and new entrant Xiaomi. The market value of Xiaomi, a smartphone and appliance maker, jumped by as much as $4 billion on Tuesday with the release of its sporty debut car, an EV priced lower than Tesla's Model 3. Gene Munster, managing partner at Deepwater Asset Management, called the quarter ugly for Tesla, blaming high interest rates and cooling excitement around EVs. He remained upbeat, however, on the company's long-term prospects. CEO Musk's persona, his tilt to right-wing politics, and his polarizing public statements are also turning away some potential Tesla customers in the United States, according to surveys and experts. Who could have seen that coming? Tesla separately faces a host of its own image problems, including lawsuits and investigations involving its autopilot driver assistance system, and allegations first reported by Reuters that it rigged the in-dash driving range estimates in its cars. Reuters reported in December that the automaker blamed drivers for chronic failures of suspension and steering parts it long knew were defective. Tesla called the report on suspension problems wildly misleading and has blamed drivers for not watching the road when their cars crash on autopilot. The automaker has said it is not aware that any ongoing investigation has found wrongdoing. That's lawyer speak, by the way. We're not aware. They didn't deny it. They're not aware. Wedbush Securities analyst Dan Ives called Tuesday's results an unmitigated disaster and termed them a seminal moment for Tesla. Quote, this was a train wreck into a brick wall quarter for Musk and Company, he wrote in a research note. In January, Tesla also warned of notably lower sales growth this year as it focuses on the production of its next generation electric vehicle. Okay, so there's a little bit more to this, but how did I know? It's not rocket science. Who buys a Tesla? Alyssa Milano buys a Tesla. Elon has made himself second only to Trump in figures that libs absolutely despise. Right. He took away their Twitter. He took their Twitter from them. So they're what self-respecting lib is going to go around with a Tesla now, right? So who's going to buy it? Conservatives, they want their combustion engines, right? They're not going to buy it. So it was inevitable that Tesla was going to fall off a cliff. You saw softening in demand last year, and because it takes some time for this to work through the pipeline because people pre-ordered these cars and they have down payments on these cars. Now you're seeing the lib effect. They are not going to buy a Tesla. And some people, when I brought this up, talked about the market in China. China's got their own EV industry. You think Tesla is going to be able to compete with China's EV manufacturing in their own country? So, and also something the article does mention that might be worth doing a segment on at some point. The whole EV market is cooling. It's not just Tesla. Now, this was another point I made because I said, full disclosure, I'm a, fairly long time Ford investor, a couple years. This is why. When I looked at the landscape, I said, you know what? I think that Ford, because they have such brand loyalty, it doesn't matter which way the EV sector goes. Ford is fine because they have such loyalty in their trucks. Now, that's not a statement of Ford quality. Everybody I know who has a Ford has fucking problems with the Ford. They wind up having to take it back. Doesn't matter. They have that brand loyalty. So if you look at what's happening with Ford at the same exact time this is happening with Tesla, Q1 vehicle sales climbed 6.8%. Hybrid sales climbed 42%. By the way, this is not to be construed as financial advice. Ford U.S. vehicle sales were up 6.8% in Q1 to 508,023. Led by sales of trucks and SUVs, Ford hybrid sales set a record quarter of 38,421 in Q1, up 42% year over year. The Maverick Hybrid was the number one selling hybrid truck in the U.S., up 77% from a year ago with sales of 19,660. Sales of electric vehicles rose 86% in Q1 to 20,223, making Ford the second best-selling EV brand after Tesla. Mustang Mach-E sales were up 77% to 9,589 year over year, while F-150 Lightning sales increased 80% to 7,743. All right, so this is the thing. If people in the heartland are convinced to go to electric trucks, they're not buying Teslas. They're going to buy Fords. So in the end, Ford was always most likely to pick up that business if such a shift in consumer habits actually occurred. Now, it's looking like the EV thing is kind of rolling back and losing its momentum, but Ford is covered because they have that brand loyalty on the combustion. So all of this to say, here comes Ron. Here comes Ron DeSantis.
Yeah,
here he
exactly.
comes. No, that prediction was so disastrously wrong that I have to rub this one in now.
Right, you gotta dig this one in. Well, the irony is that the libs are boycotting Tesla, but not X. Like they still have all of their Twitter handles, but they're just not buying the cars. Because
exactly, they're taking it out on them this way.
Teslas are replaceable to them, and Twitter isn't, because none of these alternate things like Mastodon and Blue Sky, none of them have any people on them. So they can't give that up. So they have to give up their Teslas to compensate. And there is competition there. I just want to put this chat up because it's funny. Nocturnal Human says Fords have monthly recalls. I just had my Ford van inspected. And yeah, there's like 6 recalls on it.
Yeah,
it's like it comes back with a huge one sheet of recalls. It's funny because
I'm not making an argument that Ford is a better company or better quality. I'm purely making a market argument.
Yeah, no, but it's true. They do have a lot of like weird, quirky things wrong with them. Like none of the recalls on my van are safety related, but like it's weird. Like the back passenger side door doesn't open from the inside anymore because the sensor is fucked. You got to open it from the outside.
It's always shit like that. Yep.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. It opens from the inside, not the outside. If it didn't open from the inside, that would be a safety issue, obviously. But the other thing is like when I park it. If the radio is on, the radio won't turn off unless I open the passenger side door and close it again. The sensors, like those kind of like weird system features, are all fucked up. So yeah, they do have a lot of quirky things wrong with them.
All the time. It's not an argument. Oh, it's a better company. Although I do believe Reuters reporting, because that sounds like exactly the kind of scumbag shit Elon would pull, that they know they've got problems with suspension, but blame the driver for driving it wrong. Like, right. That totally sounds like Elon. But yeah, no, Ford's got its own problems. It's not a question of it being much better quality than Tesla, although the Cybertruck looks like it's going to be a disaster. But really, it's just where these two brands are positioned in the market. And after Elon took over Twitter, the libs cried out, "You did it! You murdered my misery!" Right, yeah. They're very upset with him. No self-respecting lib is going to buy a Tesla, and conservatives don't want a Tesla. So where's your market?
Yeah. He kind of boxed himself into an unfortunate corner there.
Please clap.